What is up, everybody? DanDanTheFireman here. Today we're going to be going over two motorcycle crashes today. Now this is going to be a cornering type crash for both of these, and we're going to be going over some of the factors involved. So if you don't understand why some people crash or why things are happening the way they are happening, we're going to be going over that today so that you don't go out and crash yourself. Remember guys, we need to be extra careful around these times because of what's going on. So let's jump into these ones and talk about it.
Holy shit!
So this first one is going to be a motorcycle cornering issue, high rate of speed, everything. We do have oncoming traffic, blind turns. We have so many factors here, and the easiest thing we could possibly do is just follow SLPR. Slow, look, press, and roll. And I'll explain a little bit more of that while we move on to this video. But right away, I'd like to go ahead and take a quick look at this picture right here. Now, this is going to go into the mentality and the mindset of the rider prior to the crash. Now, we're listening to music, we're getting hyped up, and we're going 121 miles per hour on a road with no real shoulders. We obviously have incoming traffic because we have this line right here. This is to indicate that there's oncoming traffic, can't pass over. And then maybe you're going to have some animals, but hopefully the fencing will keep everything in. But that's what I see right here just right now. Now let's go ahead and move forward quite a bit. So 125, 126. So this is right here, right before the actual incident happened. So they're going to be hauling butt. If you notice just real quick, let's go back just a little bit. This is what you call a blind turn. You notice how the road kind of disappears. It also is part of the crest. So going over a hill like this, you're not going to obviously see what's on the other side of the hill, but then when you combine it with a turn with a berm or like a hill like this, you can't see. And that's why it's a double yellow, so that it's designed so that you're not supposed to pass, not because they don't want you to not pass, but because there's no vision. So one of the biggest things that you guys need to realize and recognize when it comes to any of these after action reviews is that vision is number one. And how do we get the best vision? We put ourselves in the best positions, we slow it down so we have a better view, we can react in time when we don't have good vision. Remember, vision, 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 vision. Always put yourself in a good spot for vision. So right here is not a good spot for vision, so the only thing we have control over is our speed, so slow it down so we can react with whatever time we possibly have if something does happen. So if you get up to this point, you notice how the road opened up. Well, now it's not a blind turn anymore, so this is where you roll on. So the slow, look, press, and roll. You slow down prior to the turn, especially if you can't see. So we're going to slow down well before all of this. We see that the turn is coming up. We start to slow it down, not stop, but slow it down just a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and look through the turn. Well, this is as far as we can look. Then we're going to go ahead and initiate counter steering and then also a little bit of body positioning. MotoJitsu actually came out with a really good video. Highly recommend checking his stuff out. He does something slightly different than what I do, but I think having multiple instructors, multiple people talking about, safety is very important to get different perspectives on people. So check out his video. I will have that linked in the description. How you doing, man? So right here, roll on the throttle when it's open. Your nose is pointed out. It's pointed where it wants to go. That's when you can start rolling on the throttle to maintain speed or to increase speed if you need to. So let's go ahead and move forward a little bit. So we talked about slow, look, press, and roll. There we go. So right here we have oncoming traffic. Now this should be a good indicator of, hey, it's pretty dangerous. I don't really have a good escape path, or I don't have a space cushion to the left in case something bad happens. When you're out on a track and you're doing some of this higher speed turning and higher speed stuff, you don't have oncoming traffic. So this is why you go out to a track when you are going to be doing something like this. Understand the risks. You guys are all adults. You go ahead and weigh the risks. If this is something that you want to do, realize that something bad could happen. And it doesn't have to be just bad for you. It could be bad for the other people involved. So moving forward. So he's going to do a little bit of revving. Right here is a perfect clue of what is coming up. Okay, this is going to be a sharp right, sharp left. It could be sharp left, sharp right. It could be whatever sign it is. But this right here specifically, where it says 25 miles per hour, this is a recommendation. It's not what the speed limit is. I'm pretty sure the speed limit is closer to 45, 50, maybe even 55. So let's say he's actually going the speed limit. This right here should just be a clue of, hey, if it's half the speed limit, that means it's a really tough corner. Now, sometimes it could just be like 5 miles under, 10 miles an hour under the speed limit. It's like, okay, so it's letting me know this is a sharp turn, but it should be kind of, easier, close to the speed that I should be going. But man, if it is 50% below what the speed limit is, this is a sharp turn coming up ahead, and you should really slow it down, especially if you can't see. We talked about that blind curve, that crest and everything. Now look at this. Same picture, same pattern, same profile. This is where situation awareness comes in. I talk about default orange stage in intersections. Guess what? Default orange stage on curves, whether they're blind or not. Those are the default orange stages where you are specifically understanding that there's a threat and a hazard up ahead. This is what you need to be looking at. So right here, he's going to start to panic a little bit, apply some brakes. He's going 61 and actually increase some speed. Maybe he's just now starting to slow down. You should have been doing it quite earlier, because remember, total stopping distance. Like I said, we're not trying to stop, but that should give you an idea of, hey, total slowing distance also. So right here, can't do much, and he's already going to go wide. He's messing up his equilibrium, the balance, the tire traction because of the braking, going too fast, everything. Now, what did I say earlier about those double lines? There's oncoming traffic. This is where we get into a bad spot. We're either going to go off the cliff or try to navigate some type of escape path on the little tiny shoulder right here. But man, we got cars. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't have any clue of what's going on. We don't have control of that. We have control of ourselves, but we're in this situation. At this point, we really hope we have full gear and we minimize any type of injuries. This is it, guys. This is your trapeze artist falling off the trapeze and hopefully landing in a safety net. This is what that is. Nothing you can do about it now. But he did a good job about trying to keep it up. But if you take a quick look, this car driver thought he was going to try to dodge the person. He's not going to try to kill him. He was trying to get away. And this is the panic that this driver's having and the panic that the motorcycle's having. And at no point should we be in a panic stage. But he is. This is brown stage. Brown stage is a panic, and that's not good. So he's actually going to keep the bike up right here if you watch the original video. And now a lot of people do panic and they do dump the bike. So luckily he has some good traction and he's able to keep it upright, and he's not slamming that front brake. You notice his front hand right there? If he slammed that front brake, especially when there's such low traction, he's going to dump the bike. So he was able to keep it up, and then he was able to get it back on the road. Of course, he's going to be like, oh my gosh, pucker factor, I'm surprised I'm still alive. At this point, if you're right here, get yourself back in the lane and accelerate and get yourself in a safe spot, and then pull over and double check your tires, double check everything, double check everything. And if anything, double check yourself. Make sure it's like, hey, something bad just happened. I had a very close call. This should never have happened. And calm down before you get back on the bike, okay? So Rev with Kev, this is the original video, so if you guys want to check it out, please do so. Just remember, mindset needs to be where it's at. Yeah, go ahead and hype yourself up, but remember, zone in, don't zone out. Go ahead and do slow look, press, and roll. And then once you mastered that, or at least understand the dynamics of braking and throttle and everything, your primary controls, start adding in some trail braking. Start learning some of that stuff. Like I said, I talked about Moto Jitsu a little bit earlier. He has some really good videos on trail braking, so you might want to check them out. Before we jump into this next one, I want to say thank you to my DDFM crew. We do live streams on Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays now. And when you are a DDFM crew member, you get special emojis, you get special access on Thursdays, because Thursdays is members only chat, plus Discord. You get so many different perks, and you get to be a part of the crew. So thank you so much for the support. Now let's jump into this next one. So let's go ahead and move forward just a little bit right here. Now this is going to be kilometers per hour. It's slightly different type of tone, but look at that sign. It looks almost a lot like what we use in the United States, but if anybody is in this country, please let me know what this sign means. That's another way of getting you guys into the video. So I want you guys to interact in the chat. So right here, we got those chevrons, pretty self-explanatory. We have those in the United States too, but let's go back just a little bit. This is a road that is very narrow, and we have oncoming traffic. We should not be speeding. This should be a very high orange stage. Definitely don't want to jump into red stage if we don't have to, like we talked about in the previous one. But orange stage in this situation, especially on these turns, and then you can go back to yellow stage when you get to the straightaways, like right here. I'd probably be in a yellow stage and then getting ready for the next turn. I'm going orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow. So if you don't know what any of that stuff is, I do have a video on that where I talk about the different stages. I talk about situational awareness. Go ahead and check it out. Link will be in the description. So we're moving forward a little bit more, and he's following his buddy. So his buddy has some decent body positioning, but he's also pushing that bike down really hard. And that's more than likely because he's going at a higher rate of speed than maybe what he's used to, but definitely more than what the rider is behind him is used to. So the whole point of this video now is that we need to ride our own ride. We're not hyped up like the previous video with the music, but we need to ride our own ride. So what that means is that we don't try to follow the line. We don't try to follow the body position. We don't try to follow the speed of the rider up ahead. We need to do what we are comfortable with our speed, with our body position, with our line. That's what we need to be focusing on. So if this person up front goes way ahead, perfectly fine. When I ride with a group and they want to do some fun twisty stuff, I'm like, hey guys, I'll see you later. I'll catch you up at, Windy Point on Mount Lemon or something, And I'll do that, and I'll have a Bluetooth system, and I'll tell them that, like, go have fun, be safe, I'll see you soon. And then I'll ride my own ride. And that's what I would do. So he didn't do that. He went a little bit off-road. Let's go ahead and scroll back a little bit so that way you can see it fully play. So he was not following his own ride. He was going about as fast as the person up front. And like I said, body position, line position. So right here, a little bit too fast for what he's good to do. And he's going to go a little bit wide. The only good thing that I think I can find out of this situation when it came to that is that he didn't panic brake while he was on asphalt. Because remember, you panic brake in the middle of a turn, you lose traction, you dump the bike, you get very bad injuries, especially since you're hitting a hard object. He straightened it up and tried his best to slow it down, and that's very important. That's one of those emergency skills. It's in the middle of a turn, you need to straighten it up and apply some brake pressure. Trail braking would help you if you get to that level, but remember, slow look, press, and roll, especially for beginners. Separate each movement. That way you understand each movement. Trail braking, you're combining pretty much all the movements, but you need to have some good fine motor skills. So moving forward a little bit, so he slowed down a little bit right here. So he went from 120 to about 97. Now that's a huge difference, and that's just going to be him applying the brakes, downshifting, but maybe the speedometer is not catching up, so he could be actually going a lot lower. And that's actually going to not prevent, but mitigate a lot of the injuries. So this is where the tire lost traction, possibly applied the brakes because he was afraid of the bush, and then he falls into the bush. And that's like the perfect situation for a bad situation. So he was able to land in something soft compared to running into a guardrail. So that's another thing, guys, is that you can easily run into a guardrail if this was a guardrail type situation. So be very careful with that. Make sure we're following our slow look, press, and roll. Build upon the fundamentals, and that's what slow look, press, and roll is. Once you've got that fundamentals and you want to know more and you want to get better, or you want to have more tools in your toolbox, that's when you start going to some more advanced techniques, speed shifting, then you get into trail braking, and just a bunch of other stuff. So remember, move from the very beginning and continue to progress. Progressive overload if you've ever done any type of weightlifting or working out, and then move up to the more advanced skills, okay guys? But with that said, I want you guys to understand that you need to be very careful, especially around this time, because if you do get injured, a good chance you're going to be going to the hospital where you can contract a disease that has no vaccine for it yet. So I'm not going to jump more into that. I just wanted to say something real quick, but thank you so much to my crew members for making these types of videos possible. I'll be seeing you tomorrow on the live stream.